Jungkook didn't expect anything too bad to happen the next morning, on Monday. But it was bad. He was all dressed and ready for school, and he came walking downstairs, trying to avoid his brother. But once he got to the bottom of the stairs, he heard two voices, Jin's and Yoonwoo's. He froze, and stood where he was, and tried to listen to their mumbled words. Jin, are you sure it was him? Jin asked, his voice filled with interest. Yoonwoo, yes, I'm sure. Yoonwoo sighed. Yoonwoo, I mean, you said before that you want him away from Jungkook, right? There was a moment of silence, and then, it was Jin's turn to sigh. Jin, yeah, I really don't like him. He grumbled, and Jungkook heard Yoonwoo chuckle lowly. Yoonwoo, exactly, he said. Yoonwoo, this is the perfect way to get him away from your brother. All you need to do is help me prove to the cops that Taeyang was the one who beat me up. Then, they'll take him to the station, and he'll be out of Jungkook's sight. It's the most intelligent plan. Jin, yeah. For some strange reason, Jin's voice was trailing off, almost like he was unsure of their little plan. Jin, but why don't the cops just believe you that it was him? Yoonwoo, because they want proof, or other sources to look at. Yoonwoo explained with an irritated voice. Yoonwoo, I mean, I just don't get why they can't march up to his door and start asking questions. Jin, Jin groaned. I'm not sure I want to do this. Quote. Yoonwoo, why? Jin, well, yesterday Jungkook was pretty upset. Yoonwoo, upset about what? Jin, well, I kinda banned him from seeing him, and kicked him out of the house. I mean, maybe they do have true feelings for each other. Yoonwoo, no, I know what Taeyang's like, I go to school with him. Jungkook couldn't believe this. Jin actually was a little on his side. And all this time, he thought he would never believe him, and that he would always hate Taeyang. But he thought he would hate him, too, and that changed. Yoonwoo, just come on, we can go and confront the cops now, and tell them. Yoonwoo urged. Yoonwoo, I have a source, now. Jungkook was getting way too angry with Yoonwoo. He ran out and over to them, and the both seemed kind of surprised to see him in such a rush. Jungkook, don't, Yoonwoo. He cried, you can't just come over here and use Jin, huh? Especially just so you can get revenge on Taeyang. Quote. Jin, Jungkook, he's in trouble with the police. Jin said, warning in his voice. He has to get to them. They're going to find him anyway. Quote. Jungkook, no, you even admitted it yourself. He said. Jungkook, you think Taeyang and I are in love with each other, and we are. Don't just throw something like that away, bitterly taking it from your younger brother. Don't you want somebody good for me? Yoonwoo, that good for nothing bitch is a bad boy, Jungkook. Yoonwoo growled, and Jungkook glared toward him. Yoonwoo, he'll break your heart like the rest. Jungkook, like you did to me? He asked, and Jin frowned, and looked over at Yoonwoo. Jin, what did you do to him? He demanded, anger immediately growing in his voice. Yoonwoo, that's not important right now, Jin. Yoonwoo grabbed his wrist and began pulling him out of the house, looking back at Jungkook. Yoonwoo, you might as well say goodbye to Taeyang now, you won't see him for a long time after this. Jungkook began frantically shaking his head, tears coming to his eyes. How long would he be at the station for? Worries and nervous shivers grew in his stomach, and as Jin and Yoonwoo sped away, Jungkook sprinted across the front yard into the house 2 doors over, at Taeyang's house. He pounded frantically on the door, freaking out, on the inside and outside. The door opened simply, and Taeyang looked like he had just woken up. His eyes immediately filled with worry once he saw Jungkook's current conditions. Taeyang, princess, what happened? He embraced him in his arms, shutting the front door behind them, and Jungkook sobbed in his chest, his heart pounding rapidly. Jungkook, they are gonna get you. He cried, and Taeyang sat down on the couch, pulling Jungkook in his lap so he was straddling him, and he rested his head on Jungkook's shoulder, holding him tightly. Taeyang, baby, you need to stop crying. He cooed softly. I don't understand what you're trying to. Jungkook, it's Yoonwoo and Jin. He wailed. They're bringing the police over here to come and get you from that fight. Taeyang was frozen for a couple seconds, and then, he quickly stood up, still holding him. Taeyang, Jungkook, go get in my car, okay. I'll be out in a second. Jungkook quickly nodded, and pulled out of his arms, but he quickly grabbed his wrist, planting a passionate kiss on his lips. Taeyang, I love you, okay. Jungkook, okay. He whispered, and Jungkook quickly ran out the front door, shutting it behind him, and Jungkook rushed to his black pickup truck. Just as he opened the passenger door, he saw Jin's car in the distance. And a police car following them. He immediately started panicking, and he rushed back inside, slamming the door shut, locking all the locks, and running upstairs into Taeyang's room. He was just about to walk out the door with his keys and wallet, and he frowned when Jungkook entered. Jungkook, they're already here. He mumbled. Taeyang, fuck. He threw his things on the bed and looked through the window. He shook his head as he watched Jin, Yoonwoo, and an officer get out of their cars and approach his front door. He turned back to Jungkook, worry in his eye, and he walked over slowly, and hugged him tightly. Taeyang, I fucking love you. He whispered, his lips close to Jungkook's ear. Taeyang, and it doesn't matter if they take me or not, but you're still mine. You're all mine. Yoo-hoo won't ever take you away, okay? Jungkook nodded, and he continued. Taeyang, don't be afraid of him. Don't be afraid of anyone. If you ever get hurt, I'm coming to get you. Just remember that I'm always thinking of you, okay? Jungkook, what are they going to do? He whispered, and then, they heard the front door swing open. Jungkook's body shook, and Taeyang held onto him tighter, kissing his temple multiple times. Then, the bedroom door busted open, and the officer stood there, his glare hard and cold. Officer, Kim Taeyang, you're coming with me due to uncharged burglaries, taking drugs and alcohol underage, and assault. Jungkook turned toward Taeyang, mixed feelings churning in his chest. Jungkook, burglaries? He asked, offended that he had never known anything about this. Taeyang glanced at him and closed his eyes in frustration. The officer walked over, and pulled Taeyang away from him, and Taeyang immediately reached out and grabbed his wrist, pulling him with them. Taeyang, just let me fucking talk to him. Taeyang snapped at the officer, but he just growled and slammed his chest into the wall, pinning his arms behind his back and taking out his handcuffs. Jungkook shook his head in disbelief, running his fingers through his hair. Jin and Yoo-hoo entered the room, and Jin gently grabbed his wrist. Jin, come on Jungkook, we're going home. His voice was apologetic, soft, but Jungkook whipped his hand from his angrily. Jungkook, don't you ever touch me again. He growled, and Jin looked at him with hurt eyes. Jungkook, you think I'm just gonna be okay? With all this shit, you're taking the real bad guy's side. He glared over at Yoo-woo, and then looked back disgustingly at Jin. Jungkook, I hate you. Jungkook began leaving the room, but he heard Jin following him. Jin, Jungkook, I did it too. Jungkook, no, you didn't. He angrily shouted, tears threatening to spill at the corners of his eyes. He whipped around to face him. Jungkook, you're just way too stubborn to realize the kind of guy he is. You don't even give him one chance. Where the hell is the brother used to know? Jin stared at him silently for a long time. Jungkook shook his head, whimpering quietly, and then, he ran home, not even saying goodbye to Taeyang. He was way too frustrated to say anything to anyone, even him. Jin's pav. Something tore in our relationship. Something major. It's been a week since Kim Taeyang was placed in prison, taken from my brother's side. It was all my fault. Well, maybe not entirely, but I was a major part. As the week went on, with no words leaving Jungkook's mouth to me, my heart began to feel lonely. Jungkook was the only person I actually cared about at the moment, and I was being rejected by him. On a Friday night, as I was sitting on the couch, watching TV by myself, I heard Jungkook come down the stairs, keys jingling along with him. I turned around to look at him over the couch's ledge. He was heading toward the front door. Jin, Jungkook, where are you going? I asked, automatically suspicious. He glared over at me, rolling his eyes, and I stood up, slowly approaching him. Jungkook, Jimin's house. He growled, is there something wrong with that? Quote. Jin, can I talk to you? I sighed. His eyes were filled with flaming hatred, wisps of fire crackling in his pupils. He stared judgmentally at me up and down, and then grunted, and turned. Jungkook, no thanks, Jimin's waiting for me. My heart grew heavy with frustration, and as he turned the knob, I grabbed his arm, making him look at me again. Jin, please, Jungkook. I whispered, I miss my little brother. I thought I saw a hint of softness in his eyes, but it quickly disappeared as he turned away and continued out the front door, slamming it behind him. I couldn't take it anymore. I hated being shut out by the one person you would do anything for. I shook my head, not believing I was gonna do what I was doing next. I grabbed my keys, turning the TV off, and I headed out the front door. I leaned against the wooden counter, staring at the sealed, metal doors lying in front of me. The atmosphere gave me a chilling feeling. I didn't like it. I sighed, and then, the doors opened, and two officers stepped out. Taeyang walking in between them. His dark eyes were filled with pure disgust as the three of them stopped in front of me. The guards shoved him at me, and he stood silently by my side. I glanced over at the receptionist at the wooden counter, who was typing something on her computer. Receptionist, okay, you paid the charges. She began, not looking at me. So, I think you two are set. Quote. She finally looked over at the two of us, and a gentle smile appeared on her lips. I nodded silently, and began walking out the station, Taeyang lingering behind me. Taeyang, what the fuck are you doing, you bastard? He immediately growled once we got to the outside world. I turned around, glaring at him. Taeyang, you take me in, and then, you fucking waste your money and take me back out. Jin, you don't wanna get on my nerves, Kim. I snapped, I just saved you a bunch of time behind locked. Quote. Taeyang, where's Jungkook? He demanded, his voice becoming angrier. I want to see him. Quote. Jin, I'll let you see him. My voice calmed a bit. And I'm actually being honest. He's angry with me, he won't talk to me. I've basically become the low dip in his life. I don't want to be that to him. I want to be his loving older brother, that would fucking do anything for him. Taeyang, get to a fucking point. Taeyang raged. Jin, you can have him. I said lowly, but only if you don't break his heart. He's delicate, he's special, he won't be like any other girl or boy you've had, Taeyang. But you can't hurt him, and if you do, I'll fucking kill you. Taeyang took a big breath, his eyes softening. He swallowed and crossed his arms. Taeyang, I never planned on breaking his beautiful heart. He muttered quietly. I know how he is. I've had my eyes on him for the longest time. He's amazing. He's intelligent. And you fucking screwed up with him. You better be sorry. Jin, I am. I snapped, turning away, heading toward my car. He followed. But you screwed up, too. You can't be like that around him. He deserves somebody great. You know, I lied to the police while bailing you out. I told them your thefts were false, and they believed me. Quote. Taeyang, I'll refuse to thank you. I got in the driver's seat, he got in the passenger. Taeyang, you fucking put me in jail in the first place, and there's no way in fuck I'll thank you for getting me out. Jin, that's fine, I growled, driving to our neighborhood. There was silence in the car for a long time, and then Taeyang sighed. Taeyang, I fucking love your little brother. He whispered, and I glanced over at him. Taeyang, I really do. He means the world to me, and I'm just letting you know that I'll help you protect him. Yunwoo isn't a good guy, Jin. He hit him. I bet the cops never told you that. I frowned, my heart beginning to churn with rage. I turned toward him. Jin, he fucking did what? Taeyang, that's why I attacked him. Taeyang said lowly. Taeyang, he fucking hurt my little boy, your little brother. I wouldn't let him do something like that without a punishment. He fucking put me in jail in the first place, and there's no way in fuck I'll thank you for getting me out. He stared out the window for a couple minutes. Taeyang, it's like, whenever he gets hurt, something inside me hurts, too. I long for him. I need him. I swallowed. Taeyang's house loomed into view. Hatred began growing in my body. 4. Yunwoo, I couldn't believe Jungkook was once in love with him. He was blinded with his damn spell. Taeyang, can I talk to him now? I turned toward Taeyang and sighed. Jin, he's at Jimin's for the night. I said softly. You can talk to him tomorrow morning. Taeyang, will you tell him I'm out? I put the car in the park in his driveway. I looked over at him and slowly nodded. Jin, yeah, I whispered. Taeyang stared at me with his dark eyes for a little while longer, and then he got out and approached his front door. Jungkook's pop. When I got home the next morning from Jimin's, as I walked into the living room, I smelled chocolate chip pancakes. Although I had already eaten breakfast that morning with Jimin, I still scurried into the kitchen, my stomach rumbling. Jin-hung smiled once he saw me. Jin, Taeyang's back, he said out of the blue. I stared at him, shocked yet suspicious for a moment, my eyes squinting at him. Jungkook, what? Jin, I bailed him out last night. He muttered. He's coming over in a couple of minutes. My heart leapt with joy. Jin-hung. He took Taeyang out of jail after putting him in it. I squealed, and I pounced over to my brother and hugged him tightly. He chuckled, hugging me back. Jungkook, thank you. I cried over and over again. Jin just shook his head, still smiling, and he put 2 plates filled with pancakes on the kitchen table. Jungkook, you invited him then? Jin, yes, he answered simply. Just as that word left his mouth, there was a knock on the front door. I skipped over, answering it, revealing Taeyang, whose eyes brightened up a million times when he saw me. I practically attacked him, jumping into his muscular, welcoming arms, and he hugged me tightly, burying his face in my neck. Taeyang, I love you. He repeated. I missed you. I'm so sorry. He carried me, my arms wrapped around his waist, to the kitchen table, where the 3 of us sat down and had breakfast. I was so happy Jin and Taeyang were finally getting along. Maybe everything was going to turn out good. Maybe all the major problems in the 3 of our relationships had dusted away, and there was only good in our future. Jungkook, so, are you gonna stop? The darkness was shriveling around me, but I was not nervous at all. Not in his warm, loving arms. His lips were pressed up against my temple, his bare-skinned chest against mine. He was in his sweatpants, me in my tank top and shorts, laying under the warm blankets in his bedroom. Taeyang, stop what, princess? Jungkook, the drugs, I whispered, the stealing, the fights. Quote. Taeyang took a big breath. He clenched onto my body tighter, and his soft lips kissed my temple gently a couple times, and then he reached over and stroked some hair strands off my face. His dark eyes were softly gazing at me, and he blinked a couple times slowly. Taeyang, yeah, he finally replied softly. I'll stop, just for you, I smiled, closing my eyes, hugging him tighter. Taeyang, but if someone hurts you again, like Yunwoo, I will get in a fight. I'm sorry Jungkook, but I always feel like I need to protect you. Jungkook, fine, but just try not to make it so public. I said, irritated, and he nodded. He gazed at me for a long time, and then, leaned on and kissed me slowly. His lips were filled with the essence of love, and his kisses were so sweet and gentle and slow. Jungkook paused and Taeyang, I love you, Jungkook, he whispered. Jungkook, I love you too. Taeyang hand reached up and grabbed one side of his head, and he leaned his cheek on his bare chest. Jungkook ran his fingertips over his built abs, and Taeyang's hand rested itself top of his as he guided his fingers along his smooth body. Jungkook closed his eyes, enjoying the feeling of darkness and Taeyang swallowing him in. Jimin, I really need to go now. Jimin giggled, holding his stomach. Jungkook had tears in his eyes, throwing the Xbox controller down on the floor, wiping the corners of his eyes. Jungkook, okay, we're done. This is done. Jungkook chuckled, taking a big sigh. Jungkook turned to look at the living room TV screen. Jimin's Call of Duty character lay dead, sprawled in the zombie map. Mine was also on the ground. Asterisk 12 rounds. Good for some boys. Asterisk. Jimin, I think I had the best reaction. Jimin slowly sat up, sniffing, and he grabbed his bag and started heading toward the front door. Jungkook followed him, rubbing his face. Jungkook, okay, are you coming over soon? He asked, chuckling a bit. We need to play that again. Quote. Jimin, yeah, just as long as Jinhook isn't here, because I don't think he'll be happy once he figures out we've been playing his Xbox and ruining his account. Jimin said, and Jungkook snickered. Jungkook, okay, see ya later. He said, opening the front door, and Jimin playfully punched his shoulder before walking outside and scurrying through the misty rain into his car. Jungkook shut the door, smiling like an idiot as he walked over and shut the game system and the TV off. Jungkook grabbed his phone from between the couch cushions and put his Converse on and ran outside into the dripping rain. It felt nice to have the cold water droplets splash onto his skin. He ran down the street to Taeyang's house. His porch lights were on, otherwise, the rest of his lights were off. He stopped at the end of his driveway, debating on whether asking if he was home, but then, he just shrugged and skipped to the front door and knocked twice before opening it. It might come off as rude to just barge into somebody's house like that, but both of them walk in without asking, knowing they're so comfortable with each other. Just as he opened the front door, the aroma of smoke and heavy drugs blew into his face. He frowned, covering. Taeyang had told him he would stop. Of course, he wouldn't be lying to him. Jungkook heard raspy laughing coming from the living room, and he quietly tiptoed over to the corner of the wall, looking around it and peering into the room. He saw Taeyang and two other stoners from their school smoking weed, some other guy in the corner making out with his drunken girlfriend, and another guy standing at the kitchen counter, running his finger through a powdery, white substance on the surface. Not only did he see these things, but he also heard moaning coming from the guest bedroom right next to the living room. The TV was turned on to some chant. Anger surged through every muscle in his body. He wanted to scream at everybody. He understood he was being a nosy boyfriend, but at that moment, Taeyang looked like he was the leader of some druggy gang. Jungkook, what is this? He called out loudly, walking into the open. Everybody's judgmental eyes glared at him, and Taeyang turned around, shocked to see him standing there. He groaned, rolling his eyes, and he looked at all his friends, standing up from the couch, putting some bomb thing on the coffee table. Taeyang, everybody, get out. He said, and they all started groaning and rolling their eyes, but they listened, gathering all their stuff up, and shouldering and pushing past Jungkook to the front door. Jungkook's eyes glared at Taeyang as he waited for a crazy-looking couple walk out of the quest bedroom and stumble over to the front door. Then, his dark, mean eyes looked over at Jungkook. Jungkook, are you nuts? He growled. Taeyang, I think I'm high. He answered simply. Jungkook shook his head in disbelief. Jungkook, you told me you were gonna stop. He snapped. This is so much worse than I imagined it. This is sick, you are sick. Quote. Taeyang, I can't stop everything at once. Taeyang angrily spats. This is how my life went before you came into it, so don't even fucking judge me. Jungkook, well then maybe I should step out so you can do whatever the hell you want. He said loudly. Taeyang, maybe you should. Taeyang feverishly yelled. They were both silent. Taeyang's eyes didn't soften one bit. His glare almost scared him. Jungkook swallowed, looking smugly down at his feet. Jungkook, fine, he whispered. I will. He turned abruptly and began walking to the front door, silence filling the whole house. Tears rimmed his eyes, but he didn't let them fall nor wipe them away. Taeyang, Jungkook. He heard Taeyang's voice much softer now, but he continued out the door and onto his porch. Taeyang, Jungkook. Taeyang's footsteps became louder and louder as he sped up to Jungkook, so Jungkook broke out into a run, sprinting across his front lawn, through the soaking, now harsh rain to his house in the misty distance. Jungkook was whimpering now as he slashed in large rain puddles, his legs becoming cold, his arms shivering. Before his foot could step onto his property, a hand quickly grabbed his wrist and pulled him back. His body slapped into Taeyang's chest, and he quickly used his quivering hands to push him away from him. Taeyang, baby, please. He begged as he reached out to grasp Jungkook again, but Jungkook stepped back, glaring at him. Jungkook, no, you just told me to walk away from you. He shouted over the pounding rain. So I'll do you a favor. Quote. Taeyang, Jungkook, you know I didn't mean that. His voice was soft and weak. His eyes pleaded for Jungkook to stay, but Jungkook just shook his head, not falling for his looks. Jungkook, you'll just keep doing what you've been doing. He whispered, lying behind my back, telling me you'll stop things, and doing them secretly. How do I not know if you're cheating, or if you're... Taeyang, I'm not fucking cheating on you. He shouted, frustrated. I love you way too much to do something like that to you. Quote. Jungkook, you don't love me. He spat. Taeyang, yes, I do. Taeyang growled, you know I do. Jungkook shook his head in disgust, turning around, and running to his front door. Taeyang didn't give up, he kept following him. Taeyang, you can't leave me. He called loudly, stopping Jungkook from opening his front door. I won't let you. Jungkook glared at him and tried pushing him away, but he wouldn't budge, his intent, dark eyes wandering all over him. Taeyang, and if you do, I'll follow you, he whispered. He reached out and grabbed Jungkook's shoulder, and he began pulling his lips to his, but at the last second, Jungkook pushed him aside, bursting into his house and slamming the door shut, locking it. Jungkook paused. I thought about everything a lot. I began to feel bad about it. I knew Taeyang really didn't mean what he said, but it still kind of hurt me in the heart. So, I began to think that the best way to lose the hurt was to talk to him about it. But jealousy immediately struck me when I walked down the sidewalk and saw Jillian's car parked in his driveway. My heart began thumping against my chest, and my panicked eyes glanced at his bedroom window. And what I saw disgusted me to the core. Jillian, smirking down at what seemed like his bed in her black, lace bra and underwear. He had broken everything between us. He had lied to me, cheated me, broken my heart. All this time, I had thought I meant something to a cold-hearted, yet sweet guy, if that makes any sense. He always told me he loved me, that I was his world, that I was his beautiful princess. And now, one simple, slutty girl had to step in the middle of everything and ruin everything. My heart burned with jealousy and anger as I glared up at the open window. I averted my eyes toward his front door, and I stomped over, getting my knuckles ready to collide with some noses. I slipped the door open quietly, my own anger blocking out every single sound. I snuck up the stairs, quickly walking to his closed bedroom door. Then, with my fist, I opened the door, a loud banging sound ringing in the house as the doorknob slammed into the wall. Taeyang was standing at the side of his bed, shirtless, staring at Jillian, who was smirking, about to fucking clip her bra off. Both of their eyes turned over to me, and my heart became even more infuriated than before. Jungkook comment. Jungkook, what the fuck is this? He screeched, and Jillian rolled her eyes, rubbing her eyes tiredly. Taeyang, I don't know. Taeyang looked over at Jillian, almost in a disgusted way, or maybe I was just hoping he looked at her like that. But she was just leaving. Jillian, I'm not leaving, Kim Taeyang. Jillian smugly announced, gazing at him flirtatiously. I came here to get what was rightfully mine. Jungkook, back off bitch. He growled, and she glared over at him, the look of death crackling in her eyes. It didn't faze him. Taeyang, I'm not rightfully yours. Taeyang walked over to Jungkook and wrapped an arm around his waist. But Jungkook pushed him away, making him look rather hurtly at Jungkook. Taeyang, Jungkook. Jungkook, don't fucking touch me. He snapped. How does she get in your room? Quote. Taeyang, I have no idea, and that's an honest answer. Taeyang tried grasping his hand, but he once again stepped away. Taeyang, Jungkook. Jungkook, and how did she get in her bra and underwear? Jungkook crossed his arms, raising his eyebrows at Taeyang. Taeyang, she came into my fucking room without even asking to come inside my house. Taeyang explained through gritted teeth. Taeyang, I was sitting on the edge of my fucking bed when she came in and took my shirt off. Once she started stripping, I tried putting her clothes back on, but then she tried attacking me, to kiss me. But I didn't let her, because I love you. He once again grasped Jungkook's forearms and tried pulling his lips to his in a lustful, yet loving way, but Jungkook just growled and pushed his face away. Then, he glared over at Jillian, who was watching with ease. Jungkook, how much time does he need to tell you? He snapped. He hates you, he doesn't love you. He never will. Quote. Jillian, that's not what he said last night. Jillian raised her eyebrows. Jungkook froze for a moment, but then, he began to think she was just tricking him. Taeyang, Jungkook, that didn't happen. Taeyang grabbed his shoulder from behind me and pulled his back to his chest, hugging him warmly. I would never do that to you, he whispered softly. Jillian, yeah, right. Jillian was once again smirking. She turned to look at Jungkook. Jillian, he loves me. He said that last night, and it was the sweetest thing. If only you were there. He glared up at Taeyang, and Taeyang just shook his head. Jungkook looked back over at Jillian, who was still smirking in her bra and underwear. Jungkook began shaking his head, and Jungkook broke free from Taeyang's embrace and stormed out of the room. Taeyang, Jungkook. Taeyang called, and he came after Jungkook, but Jillian quickly shut the door, leaving the two in there. Taeyang, fucking get out the way, you slut. Jillian, I've known you longer, I get you first. Jillian squealed, and Jungkook put his mouth to the door and said, Jungkook, you can have him, Jillian, he never meant anything to me anyway. Everything was silent after that. Jungkook took a couple steps back, his body beginning to shake, and then, the bedroom door opened silently, and Taeyang stood there. He couldn't believe he saw tears in his eyes, his whole face looking flushed from its color. Taeyang, seriously, Jungkook. He whispered, I never meant anything to you. Quote. Jungkook gulped. His palms got all sweaty, his heart began pounding against his chest, he felt his throat burn. Taeyang, I'd do fucking everything for you. He said gently. Taeyang, I'd give up everything I had in my life for you. I've helped you in ways I would never, ever do for a boy, or anybody, in that matter. I've put myself in jail because I out you first, I've been beaten up and hurt because of you. I've lost friends and a bunch of interests because of you. I'd fucking die if you left me. Jungkook was frozen, speechless. He had nothing to say. Taeyang, and do you know how much that hurts to hear you say that? Taeyang stepped out of his bedroom, a step closer to him, and I'd put up with anything, just as long as you were mine, and as my reward, you tell me I never meant anything to you. Jungkook, I was mad. He whispered. I didn't mean it. I thought you were cheating on me. Taeyang, even that fucking hurts. Taeyang let out. That you would think I would cheat on you. I'm better than that, and you know it. Jungkook, well, you did it before. He said, you cheated on other girls and boys. Quote. Taeyang, other fucking boys. Another droplet fell, but you aren't just another fucking boy. Quote. Taeyang, you're special to me. You actually mean something to me. I don't know why, you're just perfect to me. Jungkook, to me, to me, to me. He repeated, growing angry. Jungkook, everything is about how you feel. Have you ever wondered how I feel? Taeyang, I don't need to fucking know anymore. Taeyang suddenly screeched, bursting into tears. Taeyang, you just told me how you felt. You fucking hate me, I get it. Jungkook's vision became hazy. His head felt like he was going to tip over. All the emotions, all the words, all the images came straight to his head, and he couldn't control so much. All of a sudden, there was 3 Taeyangs, now 4. He could make out Taeyang's eyebrows furrowing into a frown as his eyes softened, and before Jungkook dropped to the floor, he swooped in and caught him. Taeyang, Jungkook. He cried, and that was the last thing Jungkook heard before he fell into a pitch of blackness.